Hello everybody, welcome back to my session. Previous session, I have explained about the valence bond theory, the structure of the complexes, hybridization of the complexes, and the magnetic properties of the complexes were explained. I have explained the postulates of the valence bond theory and I have applied the postulates. I have applied the valence bond theory. We have seen the applications of valence bond theory to the tetrahedral complexes. Now we'll see the applications of the valence bond theory to the square planar complexes and to the octahedral complexes. In the octahedral complexes, we are having inner orbital complexes and we are having the outer orbital complexes. I'm going to explain you about the square planar complexes applications and octahedral applications. So valence bond theory, it was developed by Linnaeus Pauling and the postulates were discussed in the previous session. Now, according to the hybridization, we have seen the geometry of the complexes. Now, I'm going to see about the square planar complexes. See, if the coordination number is 4, then that can be DSP2 or SP2D hybridization. And the geometry will be square planar. So for this complexes and for the octahedral complexes, we'll see the valence bond theory and how the structure is explained. We'll see. So here, if you see for the nickel cyanide ion in the square planar complex, the hybridization is DSP2 or SP2DT. The coordination number is 4. Coordination number is 4. So the number of ligands are 4 for the square planar complexes. So once if the coordination number is 4 and the hybridization is sp3, then that is tetrahedral complex. If the coordination number is 4 and hybridization is dsp2, then if it is hybridization is dsp2 or sp2d, then that is a square planar complex. So now we'll see the example of the tetracyanonickel anionic complex. Cyanide is a very strong ligand. So the nickel is the central metal ion. Cyanide is a central metal ion. Cyanide is the ligand. So 4 cyanides will be surrounding the central nickel metal atom. So this nickel atom, its oxidation state is +2. So here we'll calculate, previously I have explained the calculation x 4x plus 4 into -1 is equal to -2. So x minus 4 is equal to -2. X is equal to +4 minus 2. So x is +2. So the oxidation state X for nickel is +2. So nickel is in the +2 state. Now the electronic configuration, nickel you're having 28, argon 3d8, 4s2, 3d8, 4s2. It is 28, 3d8, 4s2 and 4p0. Here n minus 1d is involved. Ns and Np is involved in the hybridization. This is the ground state configuration for the nickel atom. D is having 8 electrons. So 5, 6, 7, 8. And S it is 2. P it is 0. This is the ground state electronic configuration for nickel central metal atom. Now, let us go for the electronic configuration of the plus 2 ion, nickel plus 2 ion. So these 2 electrons from 4s are lost. 2 electrons from the 4s are lost. And then here it is D8 configuration, S0, 4p0. Now the central metal ion, it is surrounded by the strong ligands, cyanide ions. When these cyanide ions are approaching the central metal ion nickel, this is a very strong ligand. Previous class I told you chloride, it is a weak field. It is a very weak ligand. Now here you can see the strong ligand. In presence of the strong ligand, these 2 ions get paired up against to the Hund's rule. This is one of the postulate. Against to the Hund's rule, these gets paired up. Now, after getting paired up, nickel plus 2 ion configuration is. So, here, how many orbitals are left over? 1. 1 is the D, 3D orbital. Again, 1 is the S orbital and 3 are left over, but only 2 will involve in the hybridization. So 1 vacant orbital, 2, 3 and 4. So D, S, P, 2. Total 4 atomic orbitals of the nickel undergoes hybridization. After undergoing hybridization, you will be getting 4 DsP2 hybrid orbitals. These 4 DsP2 hybrid orbitals are arranged around the nickel central metal ion. Arranged around the nickel central metal ion in the 4 corners. So you get, it is not in the tetrahedral arrangement, it is in the square planar arrangement. In the 4 corners, 4 DsP2 hybrid orbitals are arranged. So these are the vacant orbitals. Now the cyanide ions approach in this nickel plus 2 undergoing sp2 hybridization, 4s dsp2 hybrid orbitals formed, and they accept the electrons from the cyanide ions. The 4 cyanides will approach the central metal ion. Each cyanide ion, each cyanide ligand will donate pair of electrons to the central metal atom, that is nickel. Here you can see each cyanide ligand will donate a pair of electrons. Here one more cyanide. So 4dsp2 hybrid orbitals of the nickel are undergoing bonding with the cyanide ligands through coordinate covalent bond. Here you can see the arrow mark. It's nothing but coordinate covalent bond. It's nothing but the coordinate covalent bond. So 4 cyanides will bond with the nickel central metal atom. Therefore, due to dsp2 hybridization, this complex is called square planar geometry. And now let us go for the magnetism. Is there any unpaired electron? No, there is no unpaired electron. All of them are paired electrons. Therefore, all of them are the paired electrons. Therefore, it is diamagnetic in nature. These are not attracted by the external magnetic field. Okay? They are repelled by the external magnetic field. So it is diamagnetic in nature. So VBT has explained the hybridization concept, structure, and the magnetism for the complexes. Now we'll see one more example for the square planar complex. Previous session, I have applied VBT for tetrahedral complexes, weak field and strong field. Now in this session, I have applied the VBT for square planar, and we'll see one more example for this. VBT, square planar complex. Now I have taken the here I have taken the formation of tetramine copper cationic complex. Tetramine copper cation complex. Here, there you can see the +2 charge. You can see the +2 charge. It is a cationic complex. Now, in copper tetramine cationic complex, copper is a central metal atom and 4 ligands. 4 ligands, coordination number is 4. So it can have the tetrahedral or square planar, but the hybridization, if it is sp3, then that is tetrahedral. But the hybridization here it is dsp2. Therefore, it is square planar complex. Now, the central metal atom copper, what is the oxidation state? It is +2. How we are getting the +2 oxidation state? Here we'll calculate. This is a neutral ligand. It is a neutral charged. So, oxidation state will see X plus 4 into 0. It is a neutral ligand. 0 is equal to +2. So X plus 0 is equal to +2. X is equal to +2. Copper, it is in +2 state. It is in +2 state, cuprous state. So the electronic configuration of the central metal atom in the ground state, not for the ion. It is for the atom, central metal atom. So copper, it is 29. So the configuration is 3d10. Argon configuration, here you see 3d10. It is 3d10, 4s1, 4p0. Now here all the 10 electrons are arranged in the 3d orbital. It is free. Now the s is 1. Okay, so s here in the copper, it's a special one. The s electron has jumped into d. Here s2 configuration has jumped into the d. It is having 3d10 and 4s1 configuration, 4p0. Now for Cu plus 2, 2 electrons are lost. One is from the s orbital and the other one is from the d orbital. So 2 electrons lost, plus 2. It has lost 2 electrons and it has got +2 charge. Now this is the configuration of the central metal atom in the ground state. Now this is the electronic configuration of the copper ion, copper cation. Okay, +2, 2 electrons lost. Now we'll see the hybridization. Here it is dsp2 hybridization. Okay, so it is dsp2 hybridization. This electron jumps into the p orbital. Here from X-ray analysis, it has been proved this electron has jumped into the p orbital. Therefore, d orbital is empty, s orbital is empty, and 2 p orbitals are empty. So empty orbitals are required for the hybridization. So here on the rearrangement, this copper ion has jumped and the dsp2 hybridization. It is dsp2, 1d, 1s and 2p orbitals undergoes hybridization. Total 4 atomic orbitals are undergoing hybridization. So, and 4 hybrid orbitals are formed. 4 copper metal atomic orbitals undergo hybridization and 4 hybrid orbitals are formed. dsp2 hybrid orbitals. These are arranged in the 4 corners of the central metal atom. Cuprous ion is in the center and 4 dsp2 hybrid orbitals are arranged in the 4 corners. Now you are having 4 ammonium. Here you are having the 4 ammonia molecules. So these ammonium ligands will donate each ligand. It's a postulate. Each ligand is capable of donating 2 electrons. 2 electrons. So 4 ammonias will donate 4 pairs of electrons to the empty orbitals of the copper ion. So one ammonium ion has given 2 electrons. This is second pair, this is third pair, fourth pair. And the hybridization is dsp2, 4 ammonia molecules in the 4 corners, square planar geometry. So the complex copper tetramine arranged in the 4 directions DsP2 hybridization, it is a square planar complex. You are having a single electron, so it is paramagnetic in nature. If it is paired up electrons, then that is diamagnetic. So they are not attracted by the external magnetic field. Paramagnetic in nature is nothing but when the external magnetic field is applied, they are attracted to the external magnetic field due to the unpaired electrons. Okay, so now the application to the VBT we have seen for square planar complex. The tetrahedral is completed, square planar is completed. Now we'll see for the octahedral complexes. Let us apply VBT to the octahedral complexes. In the octahedral complexes, generally generally octahedral complex is nothing but ML6. Metal ligands are 6. Coordination number is 6. Ligands number is 6. So the coordination number is 6. That complex will be octahedral complex. That complex will be octahedral complex. This octahedral complex can form two types of complexes. One is the inner orbital complex and the other one is the outer orbital complex. In these inner orbital complexes, the electrons of the central metal atom got paired up against the Hund's rule in presence of strong ligand, and the inner orbital n-1 is involved in the hybridization. I repeat once again, in these complexes, inner orbital complexes, the electrons of the central metal atom got paired up against to the Hund's rule, in presence of strong field ligand, and thereby the inner orbital n-1 is involved, and thereby n-1 is involved in the hybridization. Okay. So we can see many examples in this inner orbital complexes. Those examples are hexamine cobalt cation, next potassium ferrocyanide complex, potassium ferricyanide complex, next hexamine chromium cationic complex. These are all the inner orbital complexes. Now we'll see two examples of the inner orbital complexes. Two examples. So the first one is, I'm explaining potassium ferrocyanide complex. Here, FeCN6-4. FeCN6-4 ion, anionic complex. Yes, you can call it as, if the cation is a potassium ferrocyanide complex, we can call it. So the ion of this complex we are seeing, potassium ferrocyanide anionic complex have taken here, hexacyanoferrate anion -4. In this iron metal, it is in the +2 state. Once again, I'm repeating, it is in +2 state. How? X plus 6 into -1 cyanide charge. X plus 6 into -1 is equal to -4. X minus 6 is equal to -4. X is equal to +6 minus 4. So it is +2. Therefore, iron, it is in the +2 state, central metal ion. Now, the configuration, iron, the ground state configuration of the iron metal atom, not the ion. 26, 3d8, 4s2. Here it is 3d6, 4s2, 4p0. I'm repeating, 3d6, 26, 4s2, 3d6, 4p0. You know oxidation states how to write. It is 26, 4s2, 3d6, 4p0. That is the ground state configuration of the metal atom. Now, for the ion, we'll see the configuration. Now for the ion, it is +2. So in this +2 state here, 3d 6 electrons, 5 and 1. So it has been 3d6. Now these two s electrons are lost. So 4s 0. You are getting 4s 0 and 4p0. Two electrons are lost from s orbital. So 3d6, 4s0, 4p0. Here you can see the involvement of n minus 1 d orbital. N is 4. N is 4. N minus 1 is 4 minus 1 is 3. So n minus 1 orbital is involved. So that is why you call it as inner orbital complex. And the cyanide is a strong field. So it is a, strong field, F-I-E-L-D, strong field complex. Okay, strong field complex. Now this, so in presence of strong field complex, they get paired up. As I've told you, against the Hund's rule, they are getting paired up. Okay, 4s0, 4p0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These electrons are getting paired up. 1, here it is paired. Again, this electron paired. So all the electrons got paired up. So 2 orbitals are left empty. S orbital is empty, p orbital. Totally the metal ion, it is leaving 6 empty orbitals in order to welcome 6 ligands. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. D2, D2, n minus 1, D2. N minus means 3. N is 4. 4 minus 1, 3. So inner orbital is involved here. N minus 1 d orbital involved. So how many? D, 2 Ds, 1 S and 3 Ps. Totally 6 D2 sp3 orbitals involved in the hybridization. Therefore, iron has got, after hybridization, 6 dsp3 hybrid orbitals. Now, in the 6 directions, on the 4 directions, and the upward and the downward, you'll be getting the empty orbitals. Now, here in the 6 d2 sp3 empty orbitals, it accepts the electron pairs from the 6 cyanide molecules. Here. Okay, 1, 2, total 6. 6 orbitals in all the 6 directions. Now 6 cyanides have approached. They have bonded with the empty orbitals dsp2 hybridization. Okay, D2 sp3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So T2 sp3 hybridization. So how many? 1, 2, 3, 6 orbitals. 6 cyanides have bonded, donating pair of electrons. Each one donating pair of electrons. D2 hybridization, D2 hybrid orbital, D2 sp3 hybrid orbital, D2 sp3 hybrid orbital, D2 sp3 hybrid orbital, D2 sp3, D2 sp3. Empty orbitals. For this, cyanide has donated pair of electrons, and this is the bond. This arrow mark indicates the bond. Cyanide has bonded with the D2 sp3 hybrid orbital. It is a dative bond. How many? 6 have formed. So the complex is octahedral. In the 6 ligands are there. Coordination number is 6. D2 sp3 hybridization. So therefore it is octahedral geometry. Is there any single electrons? No. If it has any of the single electron, then that is paramagnetic. But here you can see all the paired of electrons, 2 electrons, 2 electrons. So therefore, it is diamagnetic in nature. It is diamagnetic in nature. Now, let us see one more inner orbital complex. One more example for the inner orbital complex. That is potassium ferricyanide. Previously, I told you FeCN6 minus, here you can see FeCN6 minus 4. Here it is minus 3. That is ferrocyanide. This is ferricyanide. Now, in FeCN6 minus 3, central metal atom, 6 cyanide ions. Iron is a central metal ion. So, metal atom here. What is the oxidation state? X plus 6 into minus 1 is equal to minus 3. So, x minus 6 is equal to minus 3, x is equal to 6 minus 3, x is equal to plus 3. Iron is in plus 3 state, ferric state. Previously ferrous state, it is ferric state. Okay, ground state configuration of the central metal atom. Ground state configuration of the central metal atom, iron. It is D6. Okay, 4s2, 4p0. Okay, so here you are having D6 configuration. Now the electrons 3 are lost. Here one more electron should be there. There is a printing mistake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here it is 6. It should be 6. Okay, 6 electrons. Now in this electronic configuration, plus 3. 2 electrons lost from S and 1 electron is lost from d orbital. Here it is innermost orbital, ns, ns, n minus 1d. So it is n minus 1d. So you call it as inner orbital complex. 2 s electrons are lost and 1 d electron is lost. 2 electrons lost from here and 1 electron lost from here. Here a printing mistake, 1 more electron should be there. Okay, so 2 plus 1. Therefore, you have lost 3 electrons. Okay, now the cyanide ligands have approached. Now cyanide ligand is a very strong ligand. It will force to pair up against to the Hund's rule. So therefore these 1, 2 electrons have got paired up here. Now the single electron is left over. Now empty orbitals, 2 d orbitals, 1 s and 3 p have undergone hybridization. Total 6 atomic orbitals have undergone hybridization. Still ligand has not approached. Okay, ligand is approaching, therefore hybridization took place and d2sp3 hybrid orbitals 6 are formed. 6 atomic orbitals hybridized to give 6 hybrid orbitals. So 6 d2 hybrid orbitals are formed and therefore 6 d2 hybrid orbitals are arranged in the all the 6 directions. Therefore 6 d2sp3 hybrid orbitals are formed around the central metal atom and thereby around the central metal atom and thereby cyanide approach to the hybrid orbital. Iron atom formed the ion and in that ion the empty orbitals have undergone hybridization. Now the empty orbitals, all the empty orbitals are arranged in the 6 directions. So 4 corners up and down, they are arranged and thereby the cyanides approach to the empty orbitals. Cyanides approach to the empty orbitals. And now empty orbitals D2sp3 hybrid orbitals. Each cyanide will donate pair of electrons and form dative bond, coordinate covalent bond. Here 6 cyanides will form 6 cyanides donates 6 pairs of electrons and 6 dative bonds are formed. Therefore, due to D2sp3 Ml6 type, okay, Ml6 type, coordination number 6, D2sp3 hybridization complex forms the octahedral geometry. Here you are having a lone pair of one single electron, so it is paramagnetic in nature. It is paramagnetic in nature. Okay, I hope you have understood. Now let us see the outer orbital complex. Let us see the outer orbital complex. Outer orbital complex. So in the outer orbital complex, it is the high spin complex. The orbital involved is Nd orbital. Nd. Previously we have seen N minus D involvement. Now Ns, Np, Nd orbital is involved. So that is the outer orbital complex. It is the high spin weak field complex. The Nd orbital is it. Now we'll see hexafluoroferrate. Yeah, hexaferro complex we'll see. Hexafluoro iron ferrate complex we'll see. Anionic complex we'll see. Here iron central metal atom 6 ligands and -4 is the charge. In this, the ferrous ion is the central metal. Fe8 is in the +2 state. So here 4 minus 2 x plus 6 into -1 is equal to -4. So x minus 6 is equal to -4. X is equal to +6 minus 4. X is +2. So iron is in +2 state. The electronic configuration for the iron we'll see. This is the ground state configuration for the metal. Okay, d6 electrons, 4s2, 4p0. Now Nd orbital I'm telling, 4d is involved here. Previously I didn't show you. For the inner orbital complexes you have seen only 3d, 4s, 4p. Here you can see 4s, 4p, 4d involvement in the hybridization. So this is the configuration. Now electronic configuration of the +2 ion. This is the metal ion. This is the metal atom configuration. Now we'll see the metal ion electronic configuration. 2 electrons are lost from the 4s. Okay. Now these get here you can see these are the weak field fluorine, a weak field complex. Okay. High spin. Fluorine is a weak ligand, weak field complex. Fluorine, weak ligand, weak field complex. But it is high spin. So here these are arranged. Now this doesn't undergo paired up because it's a weak field. These electrons doesn't get paired up. No empty orbitals here. You need an empty orbital for the coordinate covalent bond. So here Fe+2, these are as it is. Yes, P3, D2 is involved in the hybridization. 1 yes, 2, 3 P's and 2 D's have involved. Sp3, D2 hybrid orbital is formed. 6 are formed. Now iron is Fe+2 is in the center and the 6 hybrid orbitals. Each hybrid orbital name is sp3, G2. They are arranged in the surroundings of the central metal. So after this arrangement, you are having 6 sp3d2 hybrid orbitals. Okay. Now this 6 hybrid orbitals are ready to bond with the ligand. The ligand is the fluorine. Fluorine, weak field ligand. It gives 2 electrons and forms coordinate covalent. 6 fluorines will give 6 bonds, coordinate covalent bonds. Okay. So it is donating pair of electrons, and thereby a dative bond is formed, a dative bond. 6 dative bonds are formed. So iron in the ferrous ion in the center, 6 fluorines in the 6 directions. So it is the octahedral geometry. But the hybridization is sp3 d2. Previously you have seen d2 sp3. Now it is sp3 d2. That is the inner d orbital involvement. This is the outer d orbital involvement. Okay, Nd orbital involvement. Now you're having how many lone pair you're having the not the single electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4. Single electrons are there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what you can see is the paramagnetic nature. Weak field, high spin complex. Outer orbital, high spin, weak field complex. Now we'll go for one more example. Here we'll see one more example for these complexes. Cobalt hexafluoride complex we'll see. Cobalt hexafluoride complex we'll see. For the cobalt hexafluoride complex, here it is capital C small o. It is given as carbon monoxide. Capital C small o. Hexafluoride cobalt complex anionic complex we'll see. Here cobalt capital C small o. It should have capital C small o. So that is the central metal atom. 6 fluoride ions are there. Okay. Now cobalt, it is in +3 state. You know already I told you. X minus 6 x plus 6 into -1. X central metal atom we will take it as x plus 6 into -1, each fluoride ion -1 is equal to -3. So x minus 6 is equal to -3, x is equal to +3, cobalt is in +3 state. Now the electronic configuration for this metal atom only, not to the ion, 27. Okay, so 27, 3d7, argon configuration 3d7, 4s2, 4p0. Now 27, 5, 6, 7, d7 configuration, s2, 4p0. Now even 4d gets involved here. Now for the +3 ion, 2 electrons are lost from S and 1 electron from D. So 2 electrons from here, D, 1 electron. Total 3 electrons are lost. Therefore, cobalt it is in +3 state. Okay, now the cobalt metal ion is formed. Okay, now the empty orbitals, 4s is there, 4p is there, and 4d is involved here. The fluoride is a weak field. Fluoride is a weak ligand. So once if it approaches the cobalt ion, these electrons doesn't get paid up against the Hund's rule. They are as it is, they don't get paid up. If it is a strong field, they get paid up. It is a weak field, they don't get paid up. So we are having s orbital, 3 p's and d orbitals. Now cobalt it is in +3 state. This is the configuration. 1 s orbital, 3 p orbitals and 2 d orbitals. Total how many? 1 s, 3 p's, 2 d's. So sp3d2 orbitals of cobalt cation will undergo hybridization. 6 atomic orbitals involved in the hybridization, and therefore six atomic orbitals involved in the hybridization, and 6 empty orbitals are formed, hybrid orbitals. Now these are arranged around the central metal atom. Okay. Now the fluoride ligand approaches to the central metal atom, hybrid orbitals. Each fluoride will give pair of electrons. 6 fluorides give 6 pair of electrons to the 6 hybrid orbitals. Okay. Therefore, the cobalt hexafluoride anionic complex is formed. So this is the way it has formed. Now you can see the single electrons. The single electrons. How many single electrons? 4 single electrons. So therefore unpaired electrons are 4. The complex is paramagnetic in nature. It is high spin complex. Okay. So these are about the applications. So what we have discussed? We have applications of the VBT. I have discussed bonding in the tetrahedral complexes, bonding in the square planar complexes, bonding in the octahedral complexes, inner orbital complex, outer orbital complex is discussed. Previous session I have explained about the tetrahedral complexes. This session square planar complexes, 2 examples I have taken, and in the octahedral inner 2 I have explained, and outer 2. Now let us see the limitations of this theory. This theory couldn't explain the stability. What we have discussed, only the structure, the hybridization and magnetism. That's it. There are limitations. The limitations are the stability, how you're getting. Sedgwick has explained about the stability, but the VBT couldn't explain, Linnaeus Pauling couldn't explain the stability of the complexes. Now, he couldn't explain the stability of the complexes, and the color of the complex is not explained, and the distortion of the d orbital also not explained. The d orbital, it is having E2G set, EG set, they get distorted when the ligand approaches nearer. That type of distortion is not explained by VBT, by Linnaeus Pauling. So he couldn't explain the lability, the reactivity, the stability couldn't be explained, and the lability couldn't be explained. Why they are strong, why they are stable, and why they are labile, that concept is not explained by VBT, in the VBT. So the color is also not explained. There are color complexes, but the color is not explained. At the same time, the distortion of the d orbitals also not explained. The temperature effect, how the magnetism is affected by the temperature, he couldn't explain. So at the temperature effect on the magnetism. So these are the defects of the VBT. Okay. I hope everybody have understood my session. Thank you, everyone.